Florida deputy busted in major lie after radio audio released. This changes everything. Since the tragic shooting in Parkland, Florida, questions have surrounded the actions of disgraced Broward deputy Scott Peterson, who failed to enter the school during the massacre. Peterson has claimed since day one that he believed that the gunfire was taking place outside of the school, which is why he failed to act. However, eyewitness accounts have contradicted Peterson's claims, and now radio audio has been released that busts this coward cop in a massive lie, and changes everything we thought knew about that horrific day. It is almost a month since Nikolas Cruz walked into Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, opened fire, and killed 17 innocent people. Since that day we all have wondered what could have been done differently to save all these lives, but have come up short with answers considering the contracting information we have received. The one thing that has stayed consistent is the fact that one deputy assigned to protect the school could have acted but failed to do, and none of his excuses have made any sense. According to vilified Deputy Peterson, he claims that the gunfire was coming from outside the campus and not inside the building. Though that story just fell apart after internal radio dispatches released by the sheriff's office Thursday show Peterson immediately fixated on Building 12 and even radioed that gunfire was happening inside. Yeah, and just when you thought that was bad, wait till you hear the rest what this coward cop did next. As Nikolas Cruz ran away from the scene of the crime, it is reported that Peterson told his fellow officers to stay away, even though it is BSO policy to engage an active shooter and eliminate the threat. Peterson is heard saying numerous times over radio dispatch, "Do not approach the 12 or 1300 building, stay at least 500 feet away." The audio provides a minute-by-minute account of those chaotic moments and also sheds light on the BSO's response to the worst school shooting in Florida's history. Now that this audio has been released, the public is finally gaining a clearer perspective, but it also brings more questions that have many people wondering if they will ever be answered. Here is the timeline of that day provided by Miami Herald. Cruz was dropped off at the school by an Uber at 2:19 p.m. 2 minutes later, he entered Building 12. He began firing within 15 seconds. Peterson, at the time, was near the administration building. At 2:22 p.m. the fire alarm was triggered, blaring throughout the entire campus. The first 911 call also went out, via Coral Springs Emergency Dispatch Center. "Be advised, we have possible, could be firecrackers. I think we have shots fired, possible shots fired -1200 building," Peterson radioed at 2:23 p.m. At that moment, according to the video, Peterson arrived at the southeast corner of Building 12, where he appeared to remain for the duration of the incident. "We're talking about the 1200 building, it's going to be the building off Holmberg Road," Peterson said seconds later. "Get the school locked down, gentlemen." As the shots intensified, other deputies began racing to the scene, radioing in. One believed he heard shots by the football field, something Peterson mentioned in a statement released last month by his attorney, arguing that the school resource deputy thought shots were coming from outside the 1200 building. BSO trains its officers that in the event of outdoor gunfire, one is to seek cover and assess the situation in order to communicate what one observes with other law enforcement, Peterson said. But Peterson, according to the timeline, remained focused on Building 12. "All right. We also heard it's by, inside the 1200, Peterson said at 2:25 p.m. Joseph DeRusso, Peterson's attorney, did not respond to an email and a call to his office. Calls about the shooting began blowing up the 911 call centers. Students were spilling out of the campus. Peterson radioed to make sure no one comes inside the school. At 2:27 p.m., 6 minutes after Cruz went into Building 12, the shooting stopped. Cruz ditched his AR-15 in the third-floor stairwell and left. 5 seconds later, Peterson radioed for officers to stay at least 500 feet away at this point. A dispatcher repeated, "Stay away from 12 and 1300 building." Coral Springs officer Tim Burton had just arrived at Douglas High. At 2:28 p.m., he radioed out the first description of Cruz: white male with ROTC uniform, burgundy shirt, Exactly what the shooter was wearing when he was arrested later. How Burton obtained the information was unclear from the timeline. At 2:29 p.m., as officers began encountering wounded students, Burton met with Peterson outside Building 12. The chaos continued. Deputies tried getting into Building 13 next door, but it was locked. A fleeing student appeared to be stuck in a fence. A deputy asked for bolt cutters. One deputy called for a command post to be set up. "We need to get units in here so we can trying to find this guy," a deputy radioed. It was at 2:32, 11 minutes after the shooting began, that 4 Coral Springs officers and 2 BSO deputies made the first police entrance into the building, helping to extract a victim. By 2:35 p.m., officers were seen transporting a victim on a golf cart. 1 minute after that, 10 officers burst into Building 12 through an east side entrance. Now, that this new information has been revealed concerning those harrowing moments, what is going to be done about it? It evident that the deputy did not follow policy and engage Nicholas Cruz, which could have prevented the loss of numerous innocent lives. So, this could very well open the BSO up to countless lawsuits and much more from the victims' families that have been affected by this horrific crime. It is astounding that this coward deputy did not rush in to save these children and teachers, but what is even more outrageous is that 2 heroic SWAT team men who rushed into the building have been suspended without pay for not following orders. Hopefully, now that this audio has been released, those brave SWAT team members will be reinstated to duty and celebrated for the heroes they are, and Peterson will be fired for the sissy he really is.